one person jumped on. Say hello. Add things in. Hmm. Okay, I'm going to see if somebody's going to pop on. I'm just going to give it a minute. I don't know what time it is there for you guys. It is what time here? A little bit afternoon, 10 after 12, something like that. All right. Hello, hello. It's a hot day here. Ooh, it's not much wind. I guess there is. I got to go closer to the wind, I think. I'm just at a place. I'll turn it around. I'll let you see. It's really pretty. There we go. There's the water right there. And then I'm back here a little ways on these chairs, just because it's quieter and out of the wind, but it's a very pretty view. Nice place. So what I wanted to say hello if you pop on so I know who's watching. Same with if you watch the replay. If you do a like or say hello, tell me where you're from, whatever, then it helps so that you see the videos more often. Otherwise, you may not see them that much. This one, today what I want to talk about, because I had some questions. I always have some questions when I do my groups, and I kind of forget to talk about like superfoods and super powders, thinking so much that people will just know how much to take. And this kind of becomes a problem. So the super powders and superfoods, what are they and what am I talking about, right? Well, super powders are some things you see, they are almost like supplements in a powder form in bulk, in a way. You want to say that. They are things like, you might have heard of spirulina, moringa, ashwagandha, which is an Ayurvedic herb. So there's lots of different roots, and they're usually all based out of plants, wheatgrass, or algae, like chlorella and spirulina are like algae, right? So they are. Now we got to remember when you're starting to, and maca. So some people have heard of maca, which helps to naturally balance the hormones, helps to give you energy. It's good for regulating hormones, I should say. So it's not like it's going to increase one, decrease another. It helps to balance and regulate the hormones. So it is a really good one for midlife. Ashwagandha is an Ayurvedic herb, and it helps for stress, handle stress better. Then there's something called camu, C-A-M-U, one of my favorites. That one is very high in vitamin C. It's a berry, and it's extremely high in vitamin C. Hi, Marianne. So there are certain super powder, and there's probably hundreds. I do not know all the names now. There is so many more than there ever used to be, which is really a good thing, but it can also be very confusing. So what you do, if you go into a health food store, or even now some grocery stores have the super powders, first you want to make sure it's a good brand. Watch, because there's so many people now that when super powders come out, everybody wants to produce them because they see how well they're selling. Just like when agave came out. Agave was produced in a good, clean way, and then as soon as the big companies got a hold of it, they made it cheap. They didn't care about the processing. They were just after the money, and they were out big marketing bucks. So, just like stevia now. All stevia is not the same. All agave is not the same. All super powders are not the same. So the best thing is to do is go to a really good health food store that you trust, that you know has a really good reputation. See what brands they're carrying. Most likely they're going to carry the better brands. But if you're in a superstore or a grocery store, you're going to see a lot of maybe the same things, but maybe produced by a different company, and you don't know how they produced them. They don't care about the product. They didn't know about the product. They just got into it for the money. So really be careful about that. And that's why I always suggest looking for really good quality supplements too. Ordering online is crazy. I wouldn't even want to attempt that. So super powders are the ones you'll see, they're usually in bags. Some are in capsules because now people don't like to use the powders, so don't know how to use them, and that's another thing. If you can get the pure powders, you're getting the pure powders, and the best way to use them is mixed into a smoothie or a juice that you make, Or else you can do something like if it's a mixed green powder. So you can now buy mixed green powders that have things like alfalfa. So what they do is they dehydrate these greens or liquids. Sometimes it's juices they dehydrate. And it comes to a very concentrated form, and then it becomes like a powder substance, and it's easier to store, right? So they package them up. That's what I'm talking about, super powders like that. And what else was it? When you start taking them, this is the thing. When you start adding superpowers, so some of them have almost like a medicinal effect on your body. And you guys, seriously, some of these super powders have been used for centuries. They were the medicine. They were the plant medicines that people used to use, right? Before the stupid prescription drugs. They have effects on the body. So don't start with a huge amount. Also, some of them don't taste good. Chlorella tastes really bad. Ashwagandha doesn't taste that good. Powder called Triphalia powder for digestion does not taste good. Maca is not one of my favorite flavors. So start with just a little. If you're not sure what the product does, usually on the labeling it should have what it's good for, what function of your body it supports. But also start small. And you can always go home, right? At a grocery store, you can take pictures, or a health food store, take pictures of the powders. Go home, do some little research. What is this good for? What's a good brand? What do I want to start with? Don't start with 5 or 6 at a time, because then you don't know. If you have a reaction to one, you don't know which one it is. And also, your body's going to be like in shock. I, myself, react to spirulina and moringa powder. Those are both probably 2 of the best things you can take. The problem is that they are foods, so you can have sensitivities to different foods. I happen to have sensitivities to those 2 foods, so they don't agree with me, right? When you're starting out with it, you want a good green powder. You want to say, I just want 1 powder to put into my smoothies, to add to my juices, whatever, something that's really good and nourishing, mineral rich for my body. You could go with like a spirulina and start with, like I said, a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon at the most. Then, or you can do a mixed green powder blend, And you can read the back, make sure it doesn't have a whole bunch of added sweeteners or sugars or anything that doesn't seem like a plant. It's always best to do a little bit of research so you don't get some junk. There's so many mixed green powder blends now, and lots of them are just, they have a few of the good health ingredients, and then they do some cheaper things, right? Some sweeteners and some berries. Not the berries are bad, but they're filler. They're filler because the real true greens are more expensive. So they want to fill the container with cheaper products instead of just the expensive products. So also watch, how expensive is it? Don't buy the cheapest, right? It could have a lot of filler in it. So note that, yeah. So the best thing is to read the back, see the ingredients it has in it. If you want, even in Women Creating Healthy Lives, you can post a picture of the powder you want to buy and the ingredients on the back, and I can read through that and let you know if it's a pretty good one or not so good one, right? You can do that. So those are super powders, and you can even start, if you don't have a smoothie yet, you can start with water, lemon juice, mixed green powder blend in a jar, mason jar. Start with about a 1/2 teaspoon or a teaspoon. Shake it up really well. That's water, lemon juice, and a mixed green powder. You can add a little bit of maple syrup if you want, or a bit of honey. Shake it up really well and start with that. That's a way to start having some green powder. It's great for traveling too, right? So you can do that pretty easily. Otherwise, add it to your smoothie. Like I said, don't start with 5 or 6 at a time. Start with 1. See how you do with that one for a few days. Start with another one. You're going to notice things when you start adding super powders that you might notice that you go to the bathroom more often. You have definitely more bowel movements. So because of the cleansing effect of the green super powders, they do that to your body. They want to cleanse things out, but it doesn't mean it's going to stay like that for all the time. It just means for a while your body's going to do a bit of a cleanse process. Now, when you could go into a bit of a detox, and that's also when you start with too much too fast. You're putting in all these nutrients that want to help your body detoxify all the toxins it's been holding on to. So what's going to happen is you could end up with headaches, you could get really tired, you could get foggy, you could get achy, you could have sinus problems, you could have feeling nauseous. So those can be like detoxification symptoms, which are good, But if you're too uncomfortable, then just cut back the dosage. That's all, right? Or maybe on the weekend you want to say, no, I want to like get the detoxing over. So that's another thing. Just be aware you could feel worse because that just means you're probably detoxing. But if you continue to take, like with me with spirulina, I was already detoxed. I'd been taking super powders for a long time. I tried adding it right away. I got a headache. I was like, that's weird. Then when I didn't have it, I didn't have a headache. Then when I took it again, I got a headache. Same with moringa. So I'm like, oh, it's that. That's what it is, right? So just beware. You could react. They are food. But what they do is that most of them have very high mineral content and trace minerals. Those are the LJs like spirulina and chlorella. And then wheatgrass powder is great for helping your detoxify your body. Now the dark green powders are also full of chlorophyll, which helps. It's a blood cleanser and helps to oxygenate the blood. So chlorophyll is absolutely fantastic. And plus the dark greens have a lot of minerals and proteins in them. Spirulina is very, very high in protein. So this is also a way for vegan people or people eating less meat to get those extra proteins, great healthy amino acids, plant-based. And then they also have high omega-3s, really high in essential fatty acids, which are so healthy for your body. And in midlife, we truly need more omega-3s. We need more good oils. We need more minerals because those are the food of our hormones. Our hormones require minerals and essential fatty acids and good clean proteins, which are amino acids basically. So the superfoods, the super powders are huge amounts of food and nutrition for your hormones, hi Bonita, and for every cell in your body. They support every organ, they support your skin. You'll have clearer skin, you'll have more beautiful skin, you'll have more youthful skin. Your hair, your nails will be better, right? Because you're feeding your body more minerals, more trace minerals, more vitamins, more antioxidants, great healthy essential fatty acids. So that's why I am so passionate about them. Now, superfoods, the super powders are superfoods. I mean, wheatgrass is, right? So basically it's just, but now what I'm talking about, things like hemp seeds and chia seeds. And quinoa is considered one. So hemp seeds, chia seeds, I'm probably missing some, but I'm just, superfoods. Well, kale's a superfood. Dark greens are superfoods. Those are foods that are like super duper nutrient dense, good for your body. Flax seeds. Sesame seeds are actually really good. Raw sesame seeds are extremely high in calcium. Chia is high in calcium. Not many people know that. Calcium and antioxidants and essential fatty acids, and it's complete protein. So when you hear people talk about chia and you're like, I don't know how to do chia, it must be mixed with water. It must be mixed with water, turned into like a gel. I add that into my salad dressings. I add chia with fruit is one of, like here I have dragon fruit and watermelon are two of my favorite things here. They're not real sweet fruits, but they're very nourishing and really so good. Chia gel can be added, can be just taken if you have digestive problems, but not severe ones. Just if you have a bit of constipation, you want to make sure your chia gel is quite thin, and you start by consuming 2 or 3 tablespoons a day of chia gel, not over that, and then slightly increase. You can add chia gel to your smoothie, 1 to 2 tablespoons. Do not overuse these things. Flax, chia, they can bulk you up. Psyllium husk, they can make you constipated. So if you're trying to have them for that, do not overuse them. Quinoa is a protein. It is less starchy, but it is still a carbohydrate, form of it, but far less starchy. So it's a perfect alternative instead of oats, instead of rice, instead of pasta, which just turns to fat now during this phase of your life. Absolutely, they do. So hemp seeds are one of the healthiest foods on the planet. They don't actually have to be organic, so you can just buy hemp seeds. Don't have to worry about that. Chia seeds too. Hemp seeds are high, well, great for protein, but also high in essential fatty acids. So again, that's food for our brain, that's food for our hormones. That's food. We need good fats to metabolize fat. If you are not getting enough good fats, you're not metabolizing fat very well. So also, you won't lose weight as well. So you still need your good fats. I think avocado is considered a superfood too. So these really, and some nuts and seeds are too, right? So don't be afraid of good fats. You need them. But I just wanted to jump on and just encourage, like with anything, when you're starting to use some of these super powders and things, start with just a couple to see how your body does. Start with a little less, then build up. Yeah, like if you just buy a superfood powder, if you powder blend and you add 1 to 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons into your smoothie, that is way too much. You got to understand this is super concentrated. It's dehydrated. Anything that's dehydrated, just like raisins and cranberries, are super high in sugar because they are so condensed. They're a very condensed form of sugar, right? So don't eat those. But I mean, that's what I'm talking about. These super fat powders are condensed nutrition. You don't need a lot of them. Don't overuse them to begin with, all right? Well, I hope that helped give you a little bit of clarity. There's just so many that it's hard for me to even mention them. What I kind of recommend, a good mixed green powder blend, a really good mixed green powder blend. Wheatgrass is fantastic. So wheatgrass powder is on its own. When I take wheatgrass powder, I've been here, don't have it. The gray hair almost disappears. It's anti-aging. It's detoxifying for the body. It's fantastic for your skin. It's good for protein. It's good with chlorophyll. It helps your blood. Wheatgrass powder, I cannot say enough about it. Wheatgrass juice, yes, it's great, but it's juice. If you want something that's going to last, wheatgrass powder. Store these powders in the fridge if you can, or in a cooler cupboard. Don't keep them out in the heat. Camu, that's the one I talked about, high in vitamin C, extremely great for taking all year round. Vitamin C, our skin needs that really bad too. Our health, our immune system, our cells, everything, cancer, it's great for cancer fighting, vitamin C. So Camu. Maca is great if you're in perimenopause. It's great anytime, but great if you're in perimenopause. It's just the taste is not that good. So you kind of got to be committed. And ashwagandha too. You got to be kind of committed. It's pretty bitter, pretty bitter, but you don't just quarter teaspoon, half a teaspoon, right? Start with less, but take time. Take pictures in a grocery store or your health food store. Go back, do a little bit of research, see what works for you, fit in what works into your lifestyle, what you want to begin with, and begin with that, and don't give up on it, unless it makes you sick, of course. All right, if you have any questions or comments, post below, and I would love to hear if you have any more suggestions for videos. I am doing a 21-day program starting, and Benita, you might want to do my 21-day program because you'll get most of your questions answered, and you'll get all the recipes. It is starting, we're going to do a pre-start on the 17th. It's about consciously living and eating, and this is truly about creating the life and body you love by looking at our thoughts, our habits, our belief system, what we eat, how our body feels, how our body reacts to it. So truly learning and knowing what works for you personally so that you don't have to go on any stupid fad diet again. And get your questions answered. Be part of a very supportive community of women who are working towards the same thing, who understand what you're going through and are there to support you and be with you through those 21 days, and I'm there. It all takes place in a Facebook group. We do live trainings every week. You get your question answers. You get specific things, topics that you want to talk about. You get to have everything covered in that program because it is really geared to the women that are in the program. I'm very, very personal that way. The women, I have people who have just finished my Next to You program and they're already signed up for this new one. So fantastic. The best place you can be to be supported, to get the information you need, and to make the changes you need in your life. Consciously creating the body and life you love. DianaMarchand.com/21day-creatine. And I'm going to add a bonus. I'm adding a bonus today. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.